Hey there, Wondering Watchers. Welcome to this pick a card reading that reveals whether you're the a-hole in a situation that's totally messed up or even just slightly ruffled. Whether the situation involves you and a friend, a coworker, a significant other, or a family member, this reading peels back the layers to uncover what's really going on, how to make your way through the muck, and what's on the other side of it. Keep in mind that you have agency over your life and you make the decisions about how you experience it. These cards only provide perspective, and it's your choices and your actions that lead to the ultimate truth of your situation. For those of you ready to dive into this blame game right now, the link to each reading is in the description box below. I have in front of me 4 piles of cards. In pile number 1, Tarot Disassembled. Pile number 2, the Star Seeker Tarot. Pile number 3, the 100% plastic Rider Tarot deck. Pile number 4, Mystic Mondays Tarot. Pick the pile of cards that you feel drawn to the most. If you're hoping to hear a specific message that you don't get in a reading, then feel free to pick another pile. If you don't get the messages that you were hoping for in any of the piles, then it may not be for your best and highest good to hear that particular message at this time. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to review your deck choices. Once you've made your decision, go to the description box and click on the link for the corresponding pile. Now it's time to tap into the cards, choose your situation revealing adventure, and let's make magic happen. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 1, those who picked Tarot Disassembled, to find out what's going on in your situation and who, if anyone, is in the wrong. So before we get into the tarot cards, I'm going to pull some oracle cards first to see what underlying issues are at play in this situation. So we have storyteller and saboteur. Okay, so for storyteller, the light attributes ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow attributes making up tales that harm others. Perhaps some embellishments taking place, some gossip. And with the saboteur, we have the light attributes highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Shadow attribute includes self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. So to some degree, there is this kind of power struggle going on. Possibly, if something is going well, someone kind of, making it seem worse than it is, or making it worse than it could be. So let's take a look at the perceptions that are influencing the situation. This Puss in Boots. So it can be that there is a perception that someone is kind of being either undervalued or overlooked in a way, and possibly feel that they have to go above and beyond to maybe prove their worth or their value. And we have this Snow White card. So perhaps some jealousy going on and not sure, who to trust. So let's take a look at why it might be difficult to see the full picture of this situation. Well, this one to pop up. We have the storyteller again. So someone involved in this situation may be telling an old story, maybe doesn't have their facts straight, or doesn't want to give up that story. Perhaps the storyteller and the saboteur kind of having a story of being like a victim, maybe, or kind of how something is not their fault or kind of continues to happen to them. And then you have here the student. So, someone might not be seeing the full picture, or you might not even be seeing the full picture because you're still trying to figure out like what's important and how things kind of fit together. It also could be there might be the fact that the storyteller isn't necessarily giving the full picture of the story. So it's hard to really understand, what fits, what is fact and what is truth. Perhaps a need to figure those things out for yourself. And now we're getting into the cards to kind of see the specific roles. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these a little bit more because these cards have that kind of rose petal finish and tend to stick together. So group number 1, let's see how you see yourself in this situation. We have here the Knight of Wands. Perhaps you are seeing yourself as someone who is trying to move forward in this situation, trying to challenge status quo, possibly wanting to take action, maybe to take action to change, to kind of change your position, your identity. So it could be that you're not the storyteller sticking to this old story because you are trying to kind of evolve, but it also could be that that's the story you're telling yourself. So let's see how they see themselves in this situation. 10 of Wands. So they feel that they are having to take on a lot, that they could be that person who feels that they need to prove themselves, that they're not really seen the way that they should be seen. Perhaps, they see you, jealous of you maybe having it easy. It's harder for them to move forward. They see themselves as, perhaps that person who is the victim. But let's take a look at the objective truth at the center of the situation. We have here the 7 of Cups. So there's a lot of illusions, and back to that concept of making up tales, possibly, and that just concept of a story, and maybe even the student not even really sure what the issue is. So let's take a look at the role that you actively play here, group number 1. You have the 8 of Swords. This is that victim identity. So the role that you are actually playing, even though you see yourself as the person kind of, wanting to move on, change, and really trying to, I want to say, not just follow passion, to advance your life, to explore, to kind of want to travel and want to go beyond what you already know. The role you actually play here is the victim of not having the ability to move, not like someone else having that power, but it is you yourself that has the power. It's something that you might not recognize. It may be that I'm looking at this blindfold here. It may be that you are not really seeing what's going on around you in the right way. Certain thoughts that you have or assumptions that you have are kind of keeping you kind of thinking that things are a certain way, or there's no one there to help you, or there's kind of no way out of a situation. But you have to kind of loosen the bindings that aren't really that tight anyway, to see that there's really no one that is actively working against you. It's just certain thoughts that you have. So let's see the role that they actually play in this situation. We have here the Wheel of Fortune. So they are really trying to just roll with the punches. They might actually be part of helping, like your destiny, but for this situation, they're trying to, deal with the ups and downs and kind of wanting there to be some control or trying to take control of the situation and needing to recognize that they have really no control over it. So let's see where the situation is headed if no one changes course. Well, we have the Sun here. So there's some kind of enlightenment taking place. There's some kind of, I want to say, it's like a rebirth. I do want to say this aspect of maybe the light attributes of the storyteller and the saboteur come to the surface. Perhaps like wanting to be more honest with the storyteller aspect, wanting to be more honest about what they're experiencing, what you're experiencing even, and what that experience is like, and kind of acknowledging it to yourself and possibly the others involved here, and the light attribute of the saboteur of like, shining a light on certain fears that you might have about the fact that you do have control, that these thoughts are more kind of a way for you to stay in a certain situation without actively having to make movements like you see yourself wanting to do. So let's take a look at how you can best move through this situation, group number 1. We have here the 6 of Cups. So this is a sense of really coming from a place of wanting to be in harmony with someone else, and kind of like wanting to be in a good place, just kind of recognizing it's not the best, it's not the worst, but kind of working with what you have and being kind, even being kind to others, being kind to yourself. So let's see what to keep in mind as you move through this situation. You have this concept of true love. So for some of you, this might pertain to a relationship, perhaps feeling that you might want to move on, them feeling that they're doing most of the work, or maybe that you feel like you are the one trying to make this more exciting. This could be true love when it kind of comes to yourself, recognizing that you need to be okay with yourself first, to really be in a position to kind of almost selflessly see something, see conflict for what it is. Because almost if you aren't coming from a place of love for yourself, then it makes it harder to see someone else's perspective from a place of love, and kind of recognizing that there is like a partnership going on there. So let's see what else we have for you, group number 1. We have this card of Strings. So if you are prone to relationships, friendships, employment, where you feel that you are kind of that someone tends to try to control you, or if you are in like the flip side, tend to kind of test who has that control in relationship, then kind of try to figure out more about the heart as opposed to like who has the control, who is the one kind of making things happen or not making things happen. Like really whatever guess whatever story you're telling, make sure it's a story coming from your heart. So let's see what you can learn from this situation here. Group number 1. You have this face your fear card. So it's almost a sense of if you're afraid of doing something without permission, do it without permission. If you are like hesitant of, I think one of the book's examples is, if you don't want to clean your room and you keep putting it off, then clean your room. If you are someone that doesn't, think you look good enough to wear a certain outfit, then, take steps to either change the outfit or address how you look, maybe eat healthier. If you are trying to look slimmer in an outfit, what exercise routines are you taking to like be more toned, something like that, where you are kind of, this situation is almost a sense of what is it that makes you feel uncomfortable? What is it that you're afraid of? What story do you keep telling that might need to be changed? And change it. And you have this just trust. So here you have this mole, and moles apparently can't really see well. They can't really hear well. So they have to trust themselves and trust that they can sense their environment accurately. And in order to really come from a place of trust, I think this concept of true love, of like trusting yourself, being able to recognize that that if you are in a position of being oppressed, or if someone has control over you, whether that is the case versus just thinking it, or even voluntarily giving your power away and just kind of making that person the oppressor. So here I feel like there is this concept of knowing yourself, facing your fears, and how you think about a situation. That's something you can learn. And let's see what you can learn about yourself because of the situation. You have this hunger card. And you have this ideation card. So group number 1, I get that this desire to move, this desire to like expand beyond what you know is actually there. And here it's, this whole process here, what makes you feel uncomfortable, where there's a conflict, where there is misunderstandings, can highlight the fact that, this energy here, it's almost like this fire, you got fire energy and you've got this energy of the sun here, bringing out these light attributes. It is there to, the concept of the light attributes is that there are certain situations or emotions that kind of tune in to opportunities to kind of do the right thing or to align more with your higher purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and close off by answering this question. Group number 1, if you are the a-hole in this situation, you have, there's something better. So there is yes or no in here. So there's something better. It's not that you are the a-hole in this situation. You are the person that needs to be more trusting of yourself and to like recognize that there is a story that needs to be told in a different way. So there's a different name, I guess, for you. I think here you are not the a-hole. I think you're the student. So let's take a look at some advice for you. You have this be assertive. So here, this Knight of Wands is very assertive. 8 of Swords, not so assertive. So you have that ability within yourself. And you've got this desire here to this hunger and ideation of actually moving and kind of expanding and growing beyond what you already know. So I hope this reading provides a helpful perspective of your situation. We'll see you next time. Take care. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 2, those who chose the Star Seeker Tarot to find out what's going on in your situation and who, if anyone, is in the wrong there. Before I get into some tarot cards, we're going to take a look at oracle cards. First, we're going to see what the underlying issues at play are in this situation. You have Alchemist. Light attribute says transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. Shadow attribute, misuse of power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. And Pioneer. Light attribute, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow attribute, compulsive need to keep moving on. So the underlying issues at play seem to be kind of trying to kind of reach a new frontier, trying to get ahead and to kind of show that something can be done in a better way, in a different way, possibly someone looking at it as someone trying to show off, or someone trying to kind of keep changing something just so that they can not be held accountable to a way that things have been done in the past. So those are the potentials that are going on there. Let's take a look at perceptions influencing the situation. We have Rapunzel. So it's almost a sense of someone putting themselves in a situation to protect themselves, but recognizing a need to possibly leave that situation and not exactly sure the best way forward or the right timing. And you have Merida. So this perception of kind of doing things in a very abrupt, different manner, intentionally going against the status quo to be seen in a different way. So with these issues here, it's almost like not sure quite how to fit in to something. So maybe trying to like create a new way or create a way of doing something where it is seen as intentional and intentionally trying to be different, trying to be new, but it's almost because there is uncertainty about how to fit in or what is expected, kind of like with this alchemist of trying to create something new, and the pioneer of being the first to do something. But there is also that concern of the reason why the change or the wanting to be so drastic is because of, trying to hide the fact that there is uncertainty about what is expected in the first place, or whether or not they can adhere to what's expected. So let's take a look at why it may be difficult to see the full picture of this situation. You have this quest card. So group number 2, it seems like there is some maybe new desire or new information, something that is kind of developing, where it is going to spark a change and a transformation, and it might take some time, but like a feeling of needing to pursue a certain path, possibly to be that pioneer, that pioneer energy of trying to do something differently, trying to maybe even figure out their true identity. And then we have here the student. So again, that concept of not necessarily sure how something is done and trying to learn it, but not learn it in a way that admits that they don't know what's expected or whether they want to do it, but learning a more, I guess, coming to a result that is more grand or more intense, but still in the process figuring out about themselves. So overall, these cards kind of indicate issues with self-image or identity, how someone is seen, how someone might come off or appear to others. So let's take a look, group number 2, at how you see yourself in this situation. We have here the 3 of Wands. So perhaps you are that pioneer moving on to new horizons, trying to make a change for yourself, excited about the potential of something new, something greater, something like a quest, something more grand. And actually, even looking at these cards, yes, this Oracle deck and this Tarot deck are by the same creator, but the color schemes are dark and light. But I do think the quest and the 3 of Wands here are very, very similar. So here in this quest card, I noticed there is 2 people involved, and in the 3 of Wands, there's the idea of this person on the boat making connections, and those connections advancing them forward to their goals. So it does seem that there might be other people involved in this situation, maybe not directly, maybe indirectly. So let's see how they, whoever they are, see themselves in this situation. We have the 7 of Pentacles. So they see themselves as someone who has started to invest in something and really spent time and attention and dedication to figure out how to make something work and grow, and possibly not sure what to do next, not sure how else to make something happen, to bloom, and trying to assess whether or not it's worth continuing those efforts. So let's see the objective truth at the center of the situation. We have here the Queen of Swords. So if you want objective truth, this is a great court card for that. Queen of Swords is someone who kind of cuts off their fears and says what needs to be said, communicates what needs to be communicated in a way that is empathetic, and I would say gets the point across without necessarily trying to cause injury, because they know how they've been injured in the past. So they're more kind of matter of fact. So there is some type of communication that needs to take place, honest communication that needs to take place, that might require a little bit of being bolder. And I'm actually noticing the similarities between this Merida card holding this sword and the Queen of Swords here. So this Merida character would, do things that a little girl really isn't known to do in terms of fighting and not being that feminine damsel in distress. So here it seems like there is some kind of transformation possibly taking place, some kind of more bold, fierce, I want to say power that needs to be expressed, acknowledged, communicated. possibly with wanting to move forward and seek out something new. Let's take a look at the role you actually play here, group number 2. You have here the Page of Cups. So you really are kind of connected to your emotions, possibly at times overwhelmed by your emotions, and really starting to explore how you're feeling about your connections with yourself and other people. Maybe you are noticing that there is someone or something, some activity, some place that really makes you feel more yourself, that makes you feel like you want to express yourself in a certain way, that you can almost like make anything happen. And it's interesting. I would say I'm starting to get a sense that this could, for some of you, have to do with a relationship, wanting to kind of move on from a relationship and kind of figure out who you truly are, and possibly explore connections with people that you didn't explore before, different types of people. So let's take a look at the role they actually play in this situation. We have here the Ace of Swords. So the role that they play here may be that they want to know the objective truth. Perhaps the Queen of Swords here is forcing, it's almost like forcing a truth, forcing a discussion. So whatever is taking place, whatever they're doing, they are really trying to get out of this, should I stay or should I go? Should I keep investing or not investing? And they want to, like, a clear cut, what's going on? What should I do? And getting information to like objectively back that up. So let's take a look at where the situation is headed if no one changes course. We have here the Hierophant. So this is kind of a card of just doing what has been done traditionally. So if the tradition is not talking about it, then it's not going to be talked about. If the tradition is kind of sticking with what the ways things are supposed to be done, which seems to be like the underlying issue here, is trying not to do that or trying to move beyond that, try to do something different, something new, something bolder. But if things stay as they are, then it's a sense of just doing what's been done traditionally. For some of you, if this is, this could be like a mediator or a counselor to kind of facilitate this truth bomb that needs to come out. So let's see how you can best move through this situation. We have here the Page of Wands. So Page of Cups, Page of Wands, very much curious, wanting to explore, wanting to kind of push beyond whatever is limiting them or whatever is right in front of them, to see what they can experience, what they can, what lights them up, what they can become. So I do feel, group number 2, this has to do with you trying to become more passionate and emotionally connected to yourself, to your world, to, relationships. And this quest here and the student are these pages and the Three of Wands. So I feel like that has to to do with you and your desires. And the alchemist, it's almost like you want to transform yourself. So to make a new, improved you almost. So not that you need improvement, but you want it and desire it. So let's see what to keep in mind as you move through the situation. Communication is key. That is the objective truth at the center of this. Things need to be said, communicated in a way that, is honest, but not hurtful, conveys what needs to be conveyed, and with a balanced mind and heart. You have this strings card. So it is a sense, I'm drawn to these flowing waters, to the pentacles that are kind of like, look like fingers on these strings. So I feel like to some degree you both might feel strings, and even Rapunzel's hair, like being, being the strings, and her like actually physically holding her hands around the strands of hair, braid. It's almost a sense of whoever the situation involves, almost everyone involved here feels like there are strings, that what they do affects has an effect on someone else, and vice versa, and is almost either afraid of cutting those strings because of, it's also make me think of this lace right here, because when you have something that is like holding on, like providing stability almost on a string, and you cut it, then there's the idea that whatever the string was attached to will fall and fail almost. But here, it's almost how you communicate. If there is like cooperation and understanding with how the strings are cut, and a real clear, this is my intention, this is my concern about the results, how can you prepare for that, type of thing. Not using those words verbatim, but it's almost a sense of like, it's more about the fear and lack of communication that will cause more damage in a fall, as opposed to communication and honestly conveying ideas. So let's see, group number 2, what can you learn from the situation? We have this get out of your head card. So here, with this chicken, kind of that concept of running around with your head cut off, it's almost like an automatic thing. Like it just will keep going and going and going unless something different is done. Almost like the Hierophant. Like if something different is not done, then you're going to be doing what you tend to keep doing. Most people, or people in this situation, will do that. And so here it's almost to recognize the things that kind of are running around your head are just ideas, and that you kind of have to get out of your head and kind of possibly act in a different way here. So let's see what else you can learn from the situation. You have this just trust card. Here you have this mole who is blind and really, can't hear. So they have to trust themselves to maneuver through life. They really have to know how they're feeling and understand their environment in order to move forward. And I get a sense of that's kind of the way the 7 of Pentacles is feeling, and wanting to just know which way to move. It's almost like they're trying to figure out, what direction to go, or like get a sense of what is a safe territory, what's not safe territory. And they're hoping that the environment, and I think that includes you, tells them more than them making possibly the wrong decision. But also, I feel like it's a trust yourself as well with these pages, and the Three of Wands, and the quest, and the student, and like the pioneer, of going out there and exploring, learning more about the world, having more experiences, learning more about yourself, and trusting that, your passion, your curiosity, your desire to expand and grow will lead you in the right direction. So let's see what you can learn about yourself because of the situation. You have this hunger card, so a desire to, you've got something inside of you that needs to be filled. And the way you've been doing things so far hasn't been hitting the spot. So possibly this need for this pioneer doing and creating what's not been done before might be able to fill that hole. And you have this intuition card. So, trusting your intuition is just trust. Recognizing that even coming to watch this video, recognizing that something isn't quite right and it needs to be resolved, and trusting your intuition to know that how you've been doing things isn't quite you, and wanting to explore more, like trusting that is really what you're learning here. So in terms of whether or not you are the a-hole in the situation, the question of the day, you have this yes card, but I think it is situational, and it could be that it applies to not just the other people or persons involved, but to yourself if you are not being honest about what you want and just sticking, just kind of denying your feelings. And so with some advice, you have here big, happy changes. So you are in control of that. And if you make the moves towards the big, happy changes that impact other people in this situation to allow them to get clarity and to move on, then odds are you will no longer be the a-hole in the situation. So group number 2, I hope this reading provides a helpful perspective of your situation. We'll see you next time. Take care. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 3, those who chose the 100% plastic Rider Tarot deck to find out what's going on in your situation and who may be the unreasonable one in it. So before we get into the tarot cards, I'm going to pull some oracle cards. We're going to start off by seeing what the underlying issues at play are in this situation. Okay, we have Servants, and this card wants to come out, and Angel. Okay, so here with this Servant card, the light attribute says delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. With this Angel card, it says light attribute, helping those in need with no expectation of return. Shadow attributes, acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. So with these two cards, I feel like the underlying issue might be providing assistance or helping someone, and kind of maybe having a certain expectation of, what that assistance would kind of be worth. This could be in relation to a job. This could be in relation to emotional support that you're offering a family member or friend, or possibly, in a relationship, any relationship, doing a lot and kind of making it seem like there is what's being done is just because that's the type of person they are, versus an actual like expectation of something in return, whether it's money, whether it's kind of the other person also putting in and contributing to a similar degree. That's kind of what I see there. So let's take a look at the perceptions influencing the situation. We have here Beauty and the Beast. So it could be, someone had kind of deceived themselves or had preconceived notions. This kind of things aren't exactly what they look like at first glance, and needing to really learn a little bit more, or kind of move past the initial assumptions. And here we have this Peter Pan card. So a little bit of childlike, almost like I want to say like maybe a teasing, or almost like an excuse in a way of being able to get away with things, or not do something, or to like have fun in a certain way because of like this childlike innocence or childlike attitude that someone has, or a childlike like perspective of things. So let's take a look at why it is difficult to see the full picture of this situation. Group number 3, you've got this breakthrough card. So what's interesting is there's this stone here is supposed to be like a stone that you've had with you since you were like a child. So that's interesting. You have this like Peter Pan card here, but basically this stone is kind of breaking, and like new information, new things are coming to light. And I think it's even interesting, the light colors and this Peter Pan card kind of match the light colors, the rainbow and these colors here in this breakthrough. So it's a sense of like needing to push through some uncomfortable situations in order to kind of get through or get past something that maybe has been around for a while, like a perspective that's been around and influencing how someone has been, like maybe that child, like breaking through that childlike perspective. And let's see what else we have here. This movement card. So this is also why it's difficult to see the full picture, is that things are changing and moving. And almost in a way that they need to. So it's almost as if like this situation, the people involved almost see that there is discomfort and there might be kind of imbalance going on, but also see that there can be potential to cause more movement and what's it called? Momentum to go in certain directions. So let's get into this plastic deck and start digging into the layers of this situation. So group number 3, we're going to start off by how you see yourself in this situation. You have here the 6 of Wands. Perhaps you see yourself as someone who deserves credit or should be getting credit, acknowledgement, a sense of victory here from those around you in your community, maybe those in this situation. And I would say you see yourself in this situation as trying to advance something forward. So let's see how they, whoever they are, see themselves in this situation. We have here the Seven of Cups. So they see themselves as like not really sure. Maybe they are the one with this Peter Pan like childlike beliefs, kind of not sure about what they want, consequences, how they're going to get there. It all seems good. It all seems like potential and not exactly sure. It also could be you see yourself in this situation as someone who kind of sees obstacles or challenges and addresses them and asserts yourself, like that movement, like moving forward. And possibly this servant angel aspect could be trying to help this person become more responsible, to kind of see that they have to contribute to their own lives, to the situation involved here. So let's see the objective truth at the center of this situation. We have the 10 of Wands, and it's making me think of this breakthrough card over here and this movement card. It's a sense of someone has set up maybe either unrealistic goals for themselves or for someone else. And because you can see this 10 of Wands happens on a stage. And I guess I really don't pay attention to that a lot of times, but I'm using this deck. When something happens on a stage, it's almost a sense of them actually, taking on a lot of responsibility, or if they are playing the part of someone who is kind of like overwhelmed, or they are doing things that they think needs to be done in order to accomplish something, but it's not necessarily the right things, and so they just keep on taking on more to-dos, but really not seeing clearly what needs to be done or how to get there, but moving in a very kind of stuck way. So the truth of the matter, I guess you would be the one to know whether this is you or them, and whether or not we're this servant, an angel, this assistance that has come through, or to be an issue, whether or not someone has actually volunteered to carry this load, and possibly that's why this person might not know exactly what to do or how to carry it. It could be like the 7 of Cups and the 10 of Wands is them, or it could be you, in the sense of trying to help them figure things out, that maybe, this servant and trying to help someone, it's like, oh, I think they have that potential to be this, and so I'm just going to help them and get them over the finish line, but seeing that it's a lot more involved than just helping here or there, that it's a whole breakthrough possibly that they need to figure out on their own. So let's see the role that you actually play in this situation. You have the Moon here. So the role that you play, it could be that you are uncertain, or what you're doing is possibly providing, I want to say, like a lack of clarity for someone else, and possibly focusing on, it's almost like the role you play is helping this, I think, crayfish or lobster stay in the water, because they are afraid of moving outside of the water down this path. Not exactly you've got the wolf and the dog here, and there's big pillars or towers in the distance, and you can't really see where the path is going. But here, the role that you actually play is contributing to this self-doubt and almost comfort in not moving on, or the lack of movement, I would say, and possibly contributing to these illusions. Well, these cards wanted to pop out. So this is the role that they actually play. Okay, you've got the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. This is really making me think of this Peter Pan card. Someone who is fun, who has a good time, likes to party, is kind of has this, like almost has an inside joke the whole time. So I feel like perhaps they are this Peter Pan, and perhaps it's almost making me think this might be a person that you thought would kind of maybe grow up or be more responsible, or like was fun and like fun loving and playful, and would kind of evolve into something else. So this Beauty and the Beast, it's almost like certain assumptions may have initially been made that by you regarding how this person's good mood or playful nature might impact other parts of their life. So let's take a look at where the situation is headed if no one changes course. We have this 3 of Wands, which is interesting because this person's not moving. They are kind of looking at potential like planning and connections with other people to make a move. So it's almost a sense of, here you've got this card of movement and success. That's how you see yourself in the situation. The truth of the situation is, things really not moving and being a little bit too much to actually see clearly. And then this Moon card of things, almost being in that emotion, possibly the Happy Cups here, and being in a place where this lobster or crayfish doesn't really feel inspired to move, or is concerned about what their life might be like if they made movement. And then here, if nothing changes, kind of contemplating movement, contemplating what things might be like if there was movement and change. So let's take a look at how you can best move through this situation here. Group number 3, you have the 2 of Cups. So this is 2 people communicating, being on the same page, or at least saying, hey, this is me and this is what I have to offer. And that person saying, hey, this is me and this is what I have to offer. And like, maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't, but we're both here trying to figure this out. So let's get back into some of these oracle cards to find out, group number 3, what to keep in mind as you move through this situation. You have this guarded card. So here it might be them. It might be that the reason why this kind of childlike attitude and focusing on fun and this breakthrough are like happening now, it could be because they are guarded. It also could be that you're a little guarded as well, in terms of concern about bringing this to their attention, or almost forcing them to recognize what's going on, because it seems like I get the sense like there is true concern and happiness with them. So let's take a look. We have this open up card. So it seems like if you're the one that feels like you're putting in a lot and not really getting the same in return, it seems like that's something to open up about. But I mean, basically, this is for you to keep in mind If you already know that, I feel like they are more in their emotions, and that's kind of the way they've been from the start. So it seems like the opening up can happen on both sides because of the Two of Cups. But whoever is maybe most guarded, it might be hard for them to open up, and it might, if it's them, it's as if you are aware of that. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's take a look at what you can learn from this situation. Group number 3. You have you are more. So here, this concept is like really rise up above whatever the situation is, see things from a higher perspective, and kind of like take the high road on this and realize that there's more than, what's right in front of you at that moment in time for you and for them. And this sacred boundaries. So group number 3, this situation is probably going to help you learn that voicing your expectations, your desires, your wants, what you are willing to do, what you're willing to accept, like voicing those in a way that kind of people know what to expect going forward. And also almost like with yourself, being, if you're kind of telling yourself something, then it's almost like you need to what's the word? Not take responsibility, hold yourself accountable as well. So let's take a look at what you can learn about yourself because of this situation. We have this comfort card. So it could be that you feel comfort in this situation through the lack of movement as well. Perhaps this moon card, where this is the role that you actually play. Perhaps you are inviting this comfort so that nothing really does change. Or this could also be this servant and angel card of really you truthfully like helping people. You truthfully have a connection with this person. And there are ways that you want to help out people because you care about them. And then you have this trust card. So you're kind of learning about, and it's got this like heart in the middle. So I feel like this trust card is connected not only to like you trusting yourself, but here in this Two of Cups, like trying to move through this situation and, trust that whatever communications take place here is for the best and highest good of, who's involved here, who's involved in this situation. So group number 3, I'm going to go ahead and pick a card to see, are you the a-hole in this situation? And we have this no card. You are not, but it seems like there might be none. So let's get some advice. We have this be assertive card, and I swear this was the advice in another of these readings. So here, being assertive, don't use kid gloves dealing with this Peter Pan here. So I hope that this reading provides a helpful perspective of whether you're the a-hole in your situation. We'll see you next time. Take care. Welcome back. This is the reading for group number 4, those who chose Mystic Mondays Tarot to find out what's going on with your situation and who may be in the wrong here. Before we get into the tarot cards, I'm going to be pulling some oracle cards to find out about some issues, perceptions, and difficulties in seeing a clear picture. So let's start off with underlying issues at play in this situation. We have mentor, light attribute, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Shadow attributes, inability to allow the student to move onto the role of master, impairing false instruction. So it could be to some degree someone has been it's like a follow the leader type of a situation, and possibly someone isn't being allowed to kind of have their own voice at this point. And then we have martyr, light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attribute, addiction to self-pity. So with the mentor and martyr here, I feel like there is someone possibly trying to give way too much of themselves, or at least they see that the reason why they're doing something is they're trying to help or trying to make things better, and they're the one taking on the suffering this situation, or have the taking the raw end of the deal here. This can be the same person, whoever is kind of being the leader here, either not letting someone kind of find their own voice, or the person that is maybe doing the following, not really sticking up for themselves, and kind of feeling that they have to keep following because they're helping, whoever's leading. So let's see what else we have about perceptions influencing the situation. You have Bluebeard's wife. So basically there is more to the story. And you kind of have to keep looking, keep searching. You can see this person has the key in their hand. And it might be difficult. You might, find out things. Well, someone might find out things that are unpleasant, but basically things aren't exactly what they seem, and more is either contributing to the situation, or it could be that someone is trying to hide information. And we have this Dorothy Gale here. So with this card, it's a sense of someone possibly trying to at some point step outside of their comfort zone, kind of thinking the way that things were done or what they had or how they were living wasn't necessarily good enough, exciting enough, leading them to where they want to go, and possibly, following someone that they thought would lead them where they need to go, but ultimately, realizing that maybe that's not the right path to take, and ultimately recognizing that their own voice or what they have is truly something they should be grateful for and truly what fits them. So this mentor martyr person, whoever's playing follow the leader here, could be this, following the wrong person and thinking that this will lead to something better for their life, but there's more to the story here. So either more to the story of the person they're following, whoever's taking the lead, or more to the story about what they think they don't have already. So let's take a look at why it's difficult to see the full picture. We have this alone card. So someone in the situation here, it could be you, group number 4, kind of feeling alone or not really using your time alone to enjoy what you have or to be curious about what's in your world, or exploring more, maybe more kind of going into the darker aspects of loneliness, or feeling that being with someone, following their lead, is a better path to take. Again, that Dorothy Gale concept of not necessarily recognizing what someone has. It's almost like the Four of Cups energy, of like needing to be more aware of their environment, and because they're unaware of what's really going on in their environment and being curious about their environment, they're ignoring what's being offered within it by certain people, and seeking out something different that might not be exactly what they are hoping it is. And we have this breakthrough card here. So someone has been possibly dealing with an issue, a belief, rules, structures, something that might be weighing them down for a while. And things are kind of cracking in that foundation. It's almost kind of like a tower-like moment. And so there might be some like chaos, some difficulties, but it's almost a sense of keep pushing through, because on the other side, there's going to be like more information revealed, more realizations taking place. So it's interesting on this thumb here, it looks like a key, kind of like key here with Bluebeard's wife. So group number 4, let's get into these tarot cards to see about the different roles and truths in the situation. So first we're going to take a look at how you see yourself in this situation. Group number 4, you have the King of Swords. So seeing yourself as someone who is being objective, reasonable, making decisions that are, difficult to make, but for the benefit of others. Perhaps, feeling that you're the one being like almost like the mentor here. Like maybe you're the leader and you're leading in a way that is rational, reasonable, that your way is the right way. Kings are associated with the element of air, and so are swords. So it's a lot of thought going on, a lot of analysis, and not a lot of problem solving. And King of Swords definitely believes that they are kind of the person that's making the right decisions here. So let's see how they see themselves in this situation, whoever they may be. You have the Ace of Pentacles. So they see themselves as someone who has, who wants to either create or take an opportunity to do something new, to create something new, whether it's a new investment, to take a new job, to, buy a new outfit, buy new shoes, whatever it is. It seems like they want to take a hold of this. It's almost feeling like you might be the mentor and they might be kind of like the student role, because with the Ace of Pentacles, it's something new. You have to kind of learn what the opportunity is, figure out what's needed to grow this new opportunity in the material world. So let's see the objective truth at the center of the situation here, group number 4. You have here the Lovers. So this is a situation where the truth of the matter is that commitments and partnerships and communication are needed here. So this really it has to do with making choices that are not necessarily for your best interest or someone else's best interest, but it's a balanced, making sure you're taking someone else into consideration, and that recognizing what's going to happen can affect the both of you. So for the Lovers card, I feel like it's not just like an aspect of passion, it's about communication. An interesting, Lovers is associated with the sign of Gemini, which is an air sign, and also planet Mercury, which is about communication. So here, it could be that you This situation involves people that are really looking to have a life-changing partnerships here. So, and really looking for the future. I think that's also the truth. Not necessarily looking at the here and now, but looking at the long-term future. So let's see the role you actually play here. Group number 4. You have the devil here. So, I guess that kind of depends on how you see yourself. Do you see yourself as the person in chains? Are you the martyr, perhaps, providing service to someone who feels the need to be in power, or are you the person that someone is giving up power to? So here, when I was talking about the Lovers being for the long term, I was thinking about the devil in contrast, which is about instant gratification and given into temptations and illusions, and kind of not really thinking about the long term, not thinking about consequences. Definitely ego is involved here. So you've got King of Swords. It's how you see yourself, the role you actually play with the devil here. So possibly consider that there are some, I want to say, thought patterns or relationship patterns, considering there's like this Lover's card, communication patterns that are repeating. If there is something where you find yourself in certain situations that kind of replace the players involved, and it's kind of the similar concepts over and over again. For example, finding yourself working for employers that are just really mean, or don't really care about interpersonal connections and just want you to do their job, and like don't care how you're feeling about it. Or if you find yourself in relationships where you are find someone really attractive but don't find them interesting, or in situations where you end up being with someone and you stay in relationships way too long, things like that, those kind of patterns, looking at those and kind of seeing if there is some change that needs to happen, some belief, something that has been with you for a while, possibly with concepts of being alone. Looking at those might help as well. So let's see the role they actually play here. Have the Ace of Cups. So they are really wanting an opportunity to be emotionally connected, feel joy. They see themselves, Ace of Pentacles. They are actually playing this Ace of Cups. They are really looking for those opportunities to connect. I do see Pentacles and Cups, Earth and Water. Those are more feminine elements, more receptive. Air and Fire is definitely more masculine, active. So it could be that they are the one serving. Like it's almost like they could be offering this pentacle. They could be offering this cup to you. So let's take a look at where the situation is headed if no one changes course. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So ups and downs, time will tell. It's almost like you are whoever's involved in this situation, it's a karmic cycle. Like I was saying, if something tends to repeat, then if no one changes course, then this will keep repeating. Let's see how you can best move through this situation. Group number 4, you have the 9 of Cups. So this is about, self-care, self-love, being fulfilled within yourself, If you feel alone, doing something on your own to find that joy within you, around your environment, to be aware of what you have, to be grateful for what you have, and then you can be in that position to actually share that emotional connection with someone else. And these things that are shining off, these colors, the way that they're shining off this breakthrough and shining off this Ace of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Cups, I feel like there is a breakthrough about to happen for the both of you. Though I do think that it more has to do with a breakthrough for you. Oh, and I'm actually noticing this stone here kind of looks like this Ace of Pentacles. So the way that they kind of see themselves in this situation could be they could be feeling like they're offering you an opportunity to break through something from your past, to change something about how you see things, how you think about things. So, and to some degree, maybe this Bluebeard's wife, this concept of you need to keep looking and digging. There's something hidden information that's not yet obtained. It could be this has to do with a breakthrough, a potential breakthrough about self-beliefs, having relationships with a mentor and a student, there's that power differential, someone who is in power and someone else who isn't, kind of same with the devil, kind of dealing with aspects of authority and power and when it comes to relationships. So let's see what to keep in mind as you move through this situation. You have this friendship card. So perhaps either I feel like this could be it's something that I thought about when I was going through the devil thing, and I didn't mention because I was mentioning a lot of things. Perhaps finding yourself in relationships with people who are your friends, that ultimately there's not necessarily a passion to be together, but someone who is there so you're not alone. For others of you, this could just be keep in mind, what it means to truly connect, to be friends, to give, to be there for someone, to be supportive, to get their support, or at the underlying aspect of things, whatever authority issues, power differentials that might show up, that friendships about give and take and balance. And then you got this card of support. So what I was saying about supporting each other. So let's take a look at what you can learn from this situation. Group number 4. Victory. So I feel like this is kind of like that King of Swords energy. Basically, being focused, being logical, being aware of the situation, seeing what's in your environment, actually, taking note of how you feel, how you're playing a role in things, and ultimately, kind of almost being aligned with your higher self or your higher purpose. So if you kind of want a certain lifestyle, then live as if you already have it. If it's kind of dress for the role that you want, not the one that you have, but kind of if you want to be seen as someone who is knowledgeable about a situation, make sure you study up on that situation. If you want to be someone seen as someone who is open-minded, then ask questions. and kind of be curious. If you want to be seen as someone who is a leader, then how would you want someone to lead you? Kind of like almost, if you want to be friends with someone, how would you want a friend to treat you? Kind of making sure that it's like the best version of yourself doing these things. And you're also learning this abundance card. So that back to that Dorothy Gale, that concept of like you have everything that you need kind of in your world, in your body, your soul. Like basically you have the ability to kind of have everything you need on your own, alone. And kind of recognizing that there's going to be maybe obstacles that you feel and just go through, but that's not necessarily the reality. Those challenges, those difficulties aren't your entire potential. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you can learn about yourself because of the situation. You have this happiness card, a sense of truly being happy. That's, the best way to move through it. And then you have this ghost card. So something from your past is still lingering and still impacting this situation, whether you recognize it or not, and to kind of be aware of that, acknowledge it, work through that. So group number 4, let's see if you are the a-hole in this situation. You have unlikely. It seems like, it doesn't seem like really anyone is. And even the devil is just kind of looking at the shadow side of yourself, or everyone has a shadow side to themselves. And what is it? Is there this idea of this addiction to self-pity? Kind of like, do you already have, everything you need and kind of feeling like, woe is me? So let's see about advice. You've got the situation will improve. So it will improve. And even though you have this wheel of fortune here, I think what's interesting is the wheel's constantly changing. The best place to be when the wheel is moving is centered, grounded, knowing yourself, being happy with yourself. But it looks like the situation, it will improve. And there's a breakthrough possibly having to do with concepts of, how you and relationships with another person, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, family relationship, like a coworker relationship, employee-employer relationship, whatever it is, how you think about who has power, who has to give up power, and doing things for like short-term gains versus long-term. And that doesn't necessarily mean for just the relationship, even for yourself, recognizing doing what's for your best and highest good, and how that plays out in the long term. So group number 4, I hope this reading provides a helpful perspective of whether you're the a-hole in this situation. We'll see you next time. Take care.